the theme for this month about immigrants in this country, and so inspired by our introduction song, the national anthem, which I feel strongly about. I have to admit, as an immigrant myself, I don't know every word, but I did look them up on my screen, and certainly very inspiring, particularly when so many of us come here to be in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and do whatever it takes to contribute to this community and society. A good friend of mine, Alfonso Hinojosa, is here today to chat with us about his experiences, and I'm really excited. He was born and raised in Mexico City, graduated from Universidad La Salle with a finance and accounting degree, then moved to the US in 1998, working with Sherwin-Williams. Besides that, he's worked with Moen, Avery Dennison, Vitamix, and currently he's the controller at MetalTek International. He also got his MBA from Baldwin Wallace University in international business. He is an avid tennis player. I have known about his tennis for so many years, and of course, a big fan. Proud of his family and his Mexican heritage, and his beautiful family. He's formed here with his wife, Erin, and their 2 kids. And he also has served here in the region on the board of UCP for several years, which some of you may know as again, a service organization. So I'm really excited to listen to what Alfonso is saying, and please help me to welcome him. Thank you.
You'll understand about these in a few minutes. Thanks, Asad, for the invitation and very nice welcome. Thanks, Kathy, and the rest of the Rotary Club of Kent. It is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon and sharing my journey with you. Thanks to my wife, Erin, to take time off to be here with me and also share our story with you. With the Immigrants in Leadership theme, and October being the Hispanic Heritage Month, again, it is my pleasure to be in front of you this afternoon. And just to expand a little bit on what was said earlier with how long Erin and Asad have known each other. They both attended College of Worcester. And then I've known Asad and Beth for the past 30 years. And I must say it all started with an act of kindness on my wife's part, because after 9/11, you may all remember how Muslims were being retaliated against in different ways and forms. And my wife, being the person she is, thought of Assad and wanted to make sure he was doing okay with everything that was going on at the time. So that's when I had the pleasure of meeting Assad and Beth, and we've been friends since. So it all started with a small act of kindness, and again, 30 years later, we're all very, very close friends. Similarly, as I already told you a little bit about me, I was born and raised in Mexico City. I attended university and started my professional career in Mexico. I worked for a couple companies before I was working with Sherwin-Williams in Mexico. That was a very fulfilling experience. I got to meet a lot of people throughout the company, not only in Mexico, but here in the Cleveland headquarters. A lot of that was based on my ability to speak English well. A lot of people in Mexico do not have that privilege. I consider myself very privileged in the opportunities I've had throughout my life to have a good education, learn English as second language, obviously going to school in Mexico, and then the opportunities I was presented with in life that brought me to this point, essentially. So I was able to meet a lot of people, build a lot of really good relationships. At the time, the subsidiary of Sherwin-Williams in Mexico reported to the International Coatings Division. And I had the pleasure of working with this gentleman. His name is Joe Holava. He was the director of accounting for international coatings. And one day he called me. This was back in September of '97. He presented me with this opportunity. It was kind of strange how he presented the opportunity to me. I think at first he was asking if I would know of somebody who would be interested. And then he asked me, well, would you be interested? So it was a little interesting how he presented that to me. But I remember hanging up the phone, turning around my chair and seeing this baseball that I bought on one of my visits to Cleveland when I was still working for the company in Mexico. You may remember a store called Successories in Tower City. They had all kinds of motivational objects, articles, little quotes, frame, and things like that. So I picked this baseball probably back 96, 97. And it reads, risk, you can't steal second base and keep your foot on first. So at that moment, I knew I had to take this opportunity. I remember going home that day, telling my parents and my sister about the opportunity, and they were more than supportive in me making that move. So I attribute a lot of who I am and where I am today to this baseball. I put it everywhere I work with. I have it on my desk as a reminder of that moment, and that really started that journey for me. So a few things I think we could all learn, hopefully share with you from this story I just shared. Take the risk, take risks. I remember sitting down and not wanting to wonder if I had not taken this opportunity, what would have happened or what my life would have been like. I honestly couldn't live with myself. I would probably still be in Mexico 20 some years later, and I could not have lived with myself for not awarding or affording myself that opportunity. And obviously it all worked out. It was gonna be a 3 to 5 year assignment as an expatriate. But obviously life happens. I met my beautiful wife. We've been married 22 years now. We have 2 beautiful daughters. My older daughter, Isabel, she's in Lake Forest College in Illinois. This is her freshman year. She wants to major in psychology, and she's part of the women's tennis team there. And our youngest daughter, Eva, she's a sophomore student at Bay High School in Bay Village. So again, I didn't want to have to wonder what would have happened or what my life would have been like if I had not taken this decision. And obviously, I have no regrets. And if I could do it again, I would not change a thing. And obviously, another story that comes out of that is building relationships. You cannot underestimate what a simple interaction with someone any given day may have in your future. So I know the Rotary Club lives by very basic values, in my opinion. I think every human being should live those values. You have them right here. So quite honestly, a lot of the concepts I'll share with you and some of my learnings in a leadership role are not hard. They're very simple. They're, in my opinion, basic human principles we should just live by every day, and the rest basically takes care of the rest. But I guess I encourage you to live your dreams, take the risk, picture yourselves in 5, 10, 20 years thinking, what if I had made that decision? And obviously it doesn't have to be as extreme as Assad or my decision were moving to a different country. It could be starting your own business or pursuing a hobby or a passion you've always wanted to do, maybe play tennis. um, Something that you've always had that passion, and for whatever reason you've never been motivated enough to take that leap and take your foot off first and try to steal second base. I think you are all worth taking the risk and pursue whatever your dreams are. And again, if my experience can help in any way, I'll be very happy that it may be a similar result for you. I think as a result of the pandemic, I've heard and read a lot of stories of people perhaps losing their jobs, and as a result of that, pursuing their dream of opening their own business, and they're very successful, very happy right now. So you never know how an adverse situation at the moment may result in the greatest thing that may ever happen to you. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer of that, and just with optimism and doing right, I think we'll get you through. Obviously, and faith is a big part. I have a big faith, so that also carried me throughout my journey. So in closing for this first section, again, just be yourself, be kind, be good. I think that wherever I go, I'm not only representing myself, I'm representing my family and also my country, and I'm proud to be also an American citizen. You mentioned, Asad, about the national anthem. Both my daughters were in marching band, and it always made me choke. Sorry, I get emotional sometimes. Seeing my daughters on the football field of the high school stadium, playing the national anthem of what's now my home. So I can't thank everyone in this country for giving us that opportunity of pursuing our dreams. I think that's the greatest thing about the United States of America. All right, now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about my current role as controller of MetalTek International. MetalTek is a privately owned firm. It's headquartered in Waukesha in Wisconsin. It has a few foundries. It's a foundry, a machine shop business. The company does a lot of military work. We cast centrifugal castings, all different kinds of sizes and applications. A lot of what they do in Wisconsin is for military applications. What we do, particularly where I work in Sandusky, a lot of that goes to the paper industry globally. We make really big suction shells that they go into paper making machines. And so think about every sheet of paper you touch, or your cardboard boxes when you order a package from Amazon. One of our castings went into those machines that make all those products. So being there, I've learned and been able to apply a lot of these learnings I'm going to share here with you today. And what I think has been successful in developing the team, and I'm fortunate to work with every day. Accountability is always a big part of leadership. I think it's never an easy thing to do, but particularly at Sandusky, we've embraced the culture of extreme ownership. It's based on a book by two Navy SEALs, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. I don't know who's familiar with that book, Extreme Ownership, but it basically applies some of the lessons they learned in Afghanistan in the war, applied to everyday business and leadership. Obviously, we're never facing life and death decisions like those guys do on the battlefield, but there's a lot to be learned about military. And after all, military is probably one of the oldest forms of management and leadership that there is. So we really take on this culture, and there's a lot of good that has come out of these concepts. Again, people keeping people accountable. You can work with your team, but you work with a lot of different people. Like in finance, obviously, we work with operations, quality, production planning, etc. So to me personally, extreme ownership gave me license to keep all those other teams accountable, because I'm the one reporting the financial results for the company, but I don't make the numbers. I always tell them, you guys make the numbers. I'm just kind of keeping score of how we're performing from a manufacturing standpoint. So that really gave us a lot of success in keeping each other accountable and keeping each other honest. That's a big part of why we have been successful and been able to turn the business around. The company had lost money for many years, and through these concepts, we were able to turn the business around, not only financially, but culturally. And in 2020, we had the best year we've ever had. We shared profits with all the employees. Unfortunately, then 2021 happened with the pandemic, so we're kind of making our way back to where we were pre-pandemic, but the foundation is there from a leadership and culture standpoint that I know will make us profitable very soon again. Another thing I found interesting is that we become what we tolerate. So if we tolerate bad behavior, over time, it's gonna make us be that way. And it can turn into a very toxic workplace very quickly. So if there's something you don't agree with, speak up. It's obviously for that, it's important to create a safe environment where people are comfortable coming up with concerns, ask questions, even bring up ideas. If we don't have that mindset and create that environment where people feel comfortable being who they are, we're not gonna honestly get very far. So again, we have to be careful with what we tolerate and make sure that that doesn't become who we are. Obviously, open and honest communication is very important. I always make it a point, if there's something important that needs to be shared with my team, that they hear from me first, as opposed to through the rumor mill on the shop floor or wherever that may be. I make it a point that if there's an announcement to be made, I gather my team around our offices and share the news, whatever it may be. So they hear it from me first and give them an opportunity to ask questions. I think that's something that's also generated a very healthy relationship. And again, something that's been successful for me in my current role. From a leadership standpoint with my peers in the leadership team, so I report to the plant manager, the general manager, but then there's also the operations manager, the quality manager, production planning manager, etc., sales manager. And one thing we've always done is set the tone at the top. So set the example. You all here, you have to lead by example, and it cannot be more true. So we've done things like when we do our 5S events, and for those who are not familiar with that concept in manufacturing, 5S or the 5 S's of 5S stand for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. Basically, in my own words, put it very plain and simple terms, leave things in a better shape that you found them, or leave them cleaner than what you found them. So the next person coming to that workstation on the floor, they don't have to spend time cleaning after the previous operator. So we've done a few 6S events or 5S events. So the 6S we added for safety. Obviously, in a manufacturing setting, safety is our #1 priority. Um, so we've done anything and everything from cleaning machines with degreaser and being on our hands and knees, cleaning machines, pulling weeds, taking care of the landscaping of our facility, things like that. The point being is nothing is beneath us just because someone is the general manager or the controller or the production manager. Nothing is beneath us. So I think that's gone a long way with the guys on the floor to show them that we care and we're all in this together and we are a team. I think that's something that's been also very successful for us. Obviously, in everything we do, we explain the why. Is not, well, you need to do this or need to do that because I'm the manager or I'm the boss. We have to start with the why we do what we do. And we've made it very relatable to a lot of people. We created these binders called our playbook. So every month, everyone knows what our goals are for the month to make us profitable. So how much do we need to manufacture, how much we need to sell, our on-time delivery, all these different metrics that I keep track on and report on. But everybody has a binder, and to make it personal, we ask everyone in the company for their why statement. We can't just be there to earn a paycheck. There has to be something bigger than that that motivates us to get up in the morning and do what we do. So we made it personal, and some people chose to include a picture. Obviously, more than likely it's their families, or somebody has a dream location they want to visit or vacation they want to take. They put a picture of that, but it's something bigger than just getting up and do your job and make a paycheck. That should drive us to do what we do. And I think that's also another thing that's been successful for us, and it has gone a long way. But again, back to explaining the why and empowering everybody, it's a key point to leadership in my opinion. And obviously explaining and showing the benefits or the impacts of everything we do. So if we do this is the consequence, if you will. And this is how it impacts our financial results. So that's something we've also embedded into this new culture. We also focus on what is right, not who's right. We don't point fingers. So I think that's also another important aspect on focusing on what's right and doing the right thing, doing right by people. And that goes a long way. Another learning personally is to be humble. It is an honor and a privilege to be in a leadership position. People look up to you, and they're counting on you on making the right decisions. So again, in conclusion, something I've learned is that everyone can be a leader. There's the debate if leaders are born or made. In my opinion, anyone can be a leader. Again, title doesn't make you a leader. Your actions do. Not your words, but your actions. Lead by example, take the lead. That's what makes, in my opinion, people a leader, taking the lead, taking the initiative. Because people will see what you do, not what you said. You have to lead by example and keep your promises, do what you say you're going to do. Obviously, setting clear expectations for everybody is very important. We use this 3W thing. Who's going to do what by when? Because unless you set a commitment, an expectation is just a wish. So set clear expectations with a commitment to make sure things get done the way they should get done. And lastly, if you care about your team, quite honestly, they'll take care of you, and they'll take care of the business and give you their best every single day. I use this quote from Simon Sinek. He's a leadership speaker. You may or may not have heard of him. He's very active on LinkedIn and things like that. But I have this on my email signature. It's a quote from him. He says, "We are a team not because we work together, but because we care, trust, and respect each other." And this is perhaps the most profound thing I have learned about leadership. And that's something I practice every day. Again, a lot of these are very simple concepts. They're values that the Rotary Club lives. And I think when applied to leadership, they can be of a great service to any organization, profit or nonprofit. With that, I thank you again for your time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Oh, I see one back here.
Does MetalTek International have any manufacturing outside the US?
Yes, we have a sister company in Glen Rothes, Scotland. Actually, MetalTek acquired Sandusky International about 10 years ago. And with that, the site here in Sandusky where I work and the one in Glen Rothes, Scotland are part of that acquisition. So yes, the rest of the manufacturing sites are in Wisconsin, and we have another plant in near St. Louis in Carondelet, Missouri.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for being here. I work at Kent State, and one of the things I often think about is how people say, how are our newest employees prepared for the workforce? Have you noticed a significant difference in your career of the preparedness of the people coming into the workforce?
I'm not so sure about the preparedness. I think people are prepared. It's hard to find people, quite honestly, and particularly now coming out of the pandemic, it's very, very hard to find skilled people for what we need in the foundry business. I don't think it's specific to the foundry business, just overall in manufacturing, even the food and services, restaurants. I think everybody's struggling this day to staff. We just recently rehired a person that worked in HR for us a few years ago. She started back last week. She went to work for another manufacturing company in Sandusky called Subaki. She was sharing with me earlier in the year in January, they hired 100 people. Out of the 100, no one is still with the company, only 10 months later. That's how much rotation there is. What's sad, quite honestly, for me, is to see how nearsighted some people can be. So if they're making, I don't know, $25 an hour and they can get $26 an hour the next day, they'll leave a good situation, a good company for a short-term benefit. To give you an example, some of our guys, we're a union shop, we're talking about leaving, going to work for Cedar Point over the summer for $1 more an hour. Not knowing that, or not realizing perhaps that at the end of Halloween weekends or whatever it is, they'll be out of a job. And here they're leaving a company that cares about their future and provides good benefits. Another thing we're proud of what we were able to do throughout the pandemic, we did not let any single person go. We reduced our work schedule. So everybody, instead of working 40-hour weeks, worked 20-hour weeks. And through programs like the state of Ohio had with Share Work Ohio, they were able to claim the other 20 hours. So we made everybody whole. We kept them fully employed with benefits, and with some of the COVID kickers as the program had them. Some of those guys were making more money working half the time than when they were full times. So long answer to your question about preparedness. Again, I can't speak clearly about the preparedness or how well trained they are, but that's overall what I see going on currently with the workforce.
Are there any other questions? I think we have time for one more. Carol.
I was very inspired by the values that you apply to your work, and just wondered if you could share briefly where you believe those values were formed in your life.
Obviously from my family. My dad always told me two things: be yourself and treat everybody the same. no matter if they're the janitor or the president of the company, you treat everybody the same way. So quite honestly, that's what I do every day. When I started under my current role, it was a difficult situation I got myself into. And I kept telling my team, you guys make me want to come back every day. And then a few months later, or a few months ago, one of the ladies that works with me, she's retiring next March. And she told me, you are the reason why I've hung on this long. So this is a big reward for me. I know I'm doing something right by carrying those same values. Again, it's very simple. Again, leadership is simple. It's not easy. There's a lot of dichotomies in leadership, a very conflicting concept sometimes. But I'll go back to the caring about people, being kind to people, understanding where they're coming from, understand their whatever they may be going through in life at home that may then reflect in their work. Again, be kind, understand where they're coming from, show them that you care, and they'll care about the business.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Alfonso, it is a tradition in our club that we have one of our club members respond to our program. And today it's David Dix.
Alfonso, Hinojosa is how I say the last name, correct?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
We appreciate your coming here today to speak to us. You're a wonderful reminder to those who have been born in this country, not to take it for granted, and really appreciate that message. You've given us some great pearls of wisdom as far as how to follow your dreams and treat other people as you want to be treated. And there's a difference between accountability and blaming, which is very important.
Yep.
So wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Sounds like you have a great career ahead of you, and I'm glad you're part of this country.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for coming.
much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alfonso. And with that, make sure I didn't skip something. We're going to, I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday night, 6 o'clock at the Kent State Hotel. And let's all have a fabulous time celebrating. And thanks again to Jim for your many stories over our history. So with that, if we could say the four-way test, close with the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Great.